Hello, welcome back. Eric's my name, and this week we're going to talk about two disadvantages of selling at hot market. It might sound strange, but it's true. Sometimes you really need to think about whether or not you should sell in a hot market. Think about it this way. Most people cannot afford to buy two properties at the same time. A lot of people have to sell first before they buy into the next one. And if the house you're selling is the house you're currently living in, what happens is you might be selling a house and downsizing into your dream home, two-bedroom penthouse apartment that's more convenient, more easier to maintain, but with a good view, good lifestyle, good location. What you might sometimes find if you sell in a hot market, if you don't pick the right moment, you could be selling a house for say $1 million, and then by the time it settles and you get the money and you start looking for your dream apartment, you actually realize that $1 million does not get you anything. So you really need to understand what your purpose is, and by talking to the agent that knows how the market is moving, they can make suggestions for you. And sometimes, if the market's heating up, it might not be best to sell. It might be better to sell when it's starting to cool off for obvious reasons, because you sell when it's starting to cool down, and by the time you actually get the cash from your sell, you could be buying when the market is a bit cooler. And so that's the first disadvantage of selling a hot market. The second disadvantage is once you sell a property, you can't buy it back. When you think about it, if you bought an apartment 20 years ago for $200,000, which is collecting $400 rent a week now, the return when you look into it is around 10%. What happens if you sell the apartment? You might make $200,000 by selling at $400,000, but if you keep it, you're actually earning 10% return on your original investment, and with compound interest, you're actually making a lot of money. And the capital gain is still there. It's not going to go just because you don't sell it. It will always be there in the long run. What happens when you actually sell it is you're going to realize the capital gain, and that's when the tax office is going to come knocking on your door, because whenever you realize the profit, that's when you have to pay your capital gains tax. These are the things you actually really need to consider. Sometimes I always suggest to my clients, which contrary to what people believe, US agents always want you to sell. I tell a lot of my clients, it might not be the right moment to sell, because you might actually be better off um, finding a new tenant, getting better rent, or holding it and releasing the equity. Because, for example, if you have a $200,000 apartment before and now it's worth $400,000 and you're getting $400 rent, the bank might release the $200,000 equity that you have in there. And with that $200,000, you can actually borrow to buying an investment property. And given your loans already pay off for your first property, using the income from that first property and the income from the second property, you can actually slowly build a quite substantial property portfolio. And when you come time to retire and you really need to cash out, I can promise you that $200,000 apartment that was worth $400,000, by you holding when you come time to retire, etc., it could be worth $600,000. And most people, the normal people would do, they actually see the 400,000, they sell it, they make the $200,000 profit, and what do? They're buying out a house that's $400,000. At the end of the day, they end up breaking even. The only way to really build wealth is by holding, because by holding, compound interest actually kicks in, and that's when you can actually build wealth. So before you actually consider selling your property next time in the hot market, you should really consider your situation, whether or not you're at the moment in time where you need to cash out and you're not really interested in investing anymore. At that point, yes, for sure, find the best agent to get you the best price and achieve the maximum price possible, so you can retire comfortably and enjoy life. But if you actually just selling because you see a bit of profit, my suggestion is sometimes really think about holding, and the benefit of holding is actually a lot greater than actually selling at the first chance.